Artificial intelligence is here. But instead of mowing our lawns and doing our dishes, it's writing poetry and making artwork and composing music. A lot of musicians are worried that this technology is going to take their jobs. And a lot of Silicon Valley CEOs are bragging that this technology will take their jobs. But I think what's been missing from this entire conversation is a real honest look at the kind of things that composers really get hired to do and how well AI can accomplish those same tasks. So what I've done in this video is I've assembled 6 different composing challenges. They'll be taken on by real human composers and also by AI software. And then the public will vote on which one wins based on the following criteria. Which one did you personally like the most? And which one actually accomplished the goal the best? Now, I am biased, so it wouldn't be fair if I did all the AI compositions myself. Additionally, I don't really understand how this technology works, and I'm not up to date with all that it's actually capable of. So to be the AI's champion, I've recruited computer science legend Niels Provos. He's a cybersecurity expert, but he also understands this technology very well. He's even published this free AI parallax making tool for artists. So it was his job to use all the latest and greatest AI tools to accomplish these composing tasks. But he had one huge restriction that I placed on him. He was not allowed to compose. That means no writing music, no writing lyrics, no writing chord progressions, no writing melodies. If this technology is supposed to replace artists, it should be able to do all that on its own. And I know this was a frustrating restriction to put on Niels, because in addition to all those other things, he's also a composer. He's actually my musical partner in a group called Activate. There's links below so you can check out our stuff. So hopefully you agree, Niels Provos, with AI on his side, is going to be a formidable opponent for any human composer. And now, let the battles begin.
Round 1. Fight!
Challenge number 1 was to write background music for a health insurance radio ad. I personally thought this was the AI's best chance to beat the humans. You can't have something flashy and aggressive, you just need the listener to feel safe. Now to begin, well, we needed a voiceover, so I made that myself. I went to ChatGPT and had it write me up a corporate script, then I recorded that into Ableton, added some compression and equalization to get this sound.
At Signals Music Health Insurance, your health is our harmony.
Now to start actually composing, I began with this plucky sounding harmonic patch, which I've heard quite a few times in those corporate jingles. Then I outlined a 1-5-4-5 chord progression. If you don't know what that means, you can check out my lesson on diatonic major chords. And that was most of the work. After that, I just layered things on top, like more strings and some percussion layers. Putting it all together gives me a legit radio ad.
At Signals Music Health Insurance, your health is our harmony. Whether you're a solo artist or part of the band, we've got you covered with affordable plans and comprehensive care. Stay in tune with your health. Choose Signals Music Health Insurance, where your well-being hits all the right notes.
Now I think that's fine, and it took me about 1 hour to complete. But let's take a listen to how Niels was able to accomplish the same task.
This one was for sure the easiest and most suited for these AI composers. So basically I just went to Suno, said, give me something mid-tempo, really chill and relaxing. Something good actually came up fairly quickly. And then I took it into Ableton, and the main challenge with these tracks is that they're fairly long. They're usually 2, 3, 4 minutes long, and so I had to find reasonable transitions that would sort of work with the voiceover that you provided for your ad.
At Signals Music Health Insurance, your health is our harmony. Whether you're a solo artist or part of the band, we've got you covered with affordable plans and comprehensive care. Stay in tune with your health. Choose Signals Music Health Insurance, where your well-being hits all the right notes.
Well, I think that's fine too. It's hard for me to really pick a winner here. I mean, they both get the job done. And the public has spoken. The robots have won. But this really doesn't bother me that much. It's basically a coin toss. They both got the job done. And the truth of the matter is this composing job has kind of gone the way of the dodo for a long time. When people want corporate generic music, they usually just go to a catalog or a stock music website. And it's very hard for new composers to break into those industries. So I'm not going to mourn the loss of this kind of composing work, personally. But let's move on to challenge number 2, one that I would actually be disappointed if AI could accomplish better than humans. The goal is to write a folksy, heartfelt duet that features male and female vocals. I decided to recruit my friend Karen Shook for this challenge. She's an admired Chicagoland artist with a really unique and lovely folksy voice. I thought she'd be perfect for this battle. So we met up and I listened to her sing and play some chords and sing some lyrics. And then I went back home with that recording and was able to assemble it with a little bit more structure, a little bit more form into this set of lyrics and chords. What we've got is really basic chords from the key of G major, just a 1, a 5, a 2, and a 4. What I did is I recorded those on my acoustic guitar into Ableton. Then I added in some bass guitar, another electric part, I clicked in a drum part, and then I had Karen sing the melodies on top.
It was the middle of the night.
Now this had to be a duet, so I was going to sing my own part. But the part that I wrote was just too high for me to sing, and it sounded really bad when I tried singing it. So instead what I did is I sang it an octave lower, and then I used an AI tool to pitch my voice up an entire octave. I personally love this idea. Beating AI with AI is just so disrespectful. It's like slapping somebody with their own hand. The service I used was Acoompany, and I thought it worked out pretty good. Here's what I sounded like before.
And I was on my own.
And here's what it sounds like after.
And I was on my own.
So, mine and Karen's submission for Battle 2 all together sounds like this.
It was the middle of the night. I was dreaming that you held me tight, but then I woke and I was on my own. But I remember how you told me that you never let me end up all alone. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. I'm all alone.
So that's how humans can get it done. But how about AI?
This was so cringy, I wanted to retract my submission. So I ended up going to ChatGPT and prompted for lyrics that would work for Duet. And I ended up finding this tool, Melody Generator. But it really produces essentially random melodies that sort of fit with the syllable counts, but the melodies and the chord progressions are essentially random. And then I took it to Melody Studio to basically transcribe it and have it performed by AI singers. For the second part, which was the chorus, I just ended up going to a studio immediately and had the vocals produced that way. And they could produce doubles, and you could, have male and female singers. So you'll find that a lot of the sustained vowels are just not where you want them to be. They're sort of off the grid, and it just sounds really, really weird.
The sun says look beyond the trees.
We walk in silence beneath the breeze.
With whispered words our hearts find ease. Hand in hand through fields of gold, hearts entwined, a love untold. With each step our story shown in the twilight, our love has grown.
Well, the good news is I am very relieved to report that the humans have won this battle. But what's shocking to me is that some people actually voted for the AI duet, which I find comically astonishing. That means to some people out there, mine and Karen's song was so bad that they voted for AI. Or they were hearing something in the AI composition that they liked so much that they voted for, and I literally just can't hear that. But there's a lot of things in this world I just don't understand. So instead, let's just move on to Battle 3. The goal here was pretty abstract. The composer had to create the musical embodiment of an emotion, and that emotion was optimistic sonder. Sonder is a very pretentious word with a very long definition shown here on screen. But I thought it was a good challenge for an artist to take on. And instead of handling this difficult task myself, I passed it off to my friend Mike Mugley. He's a musical guru, and these days he spends a lot of time on his YouTube channel live streaming modular synth sets, which I highly recommend. But he doesn't just bleep and bloop on the synths. He's a great composer with excellent piano skills, and I thought he'd be able to handle this task pretty well. And here's Mike's submission to represent the sound of optimistic Sonder. I thought that was beautiful, but let's take a listen to what Niels and AI were able to accomplish. Truthfully, I was quite impressed with the AI composition. It's cohesive, they're good chord progressions, there's structure, there's melody, there's harmony. I just thought it sounded very weird, but that sound effect took me away from it. So to me, the clear winner is Mike's piece. But strangely enough, the public was pretty much tied on this one, with AI having a slight lead over the humans. And this does actually surprise me, and slightly disappoint me. But it's not game over for the humans, there's more challenges ahead. For this challenge, the task was to compose music for an a cappella melody. The melody we're working with was sung by my friend and talented local composer, Will Orlick. And it sounds like this.
Please don't own me, feel around me, in my own head, words that they said.
Now, adding music to this can be a very challenging task. You don't have a strict tempo, you're not told what the key is, there's no chords. This is all stuff that the composer has to figure out. So what I did is first make sure he was 100% on a rhythmic grid, and I just split things up in my DAW to make sure that it was a steady tempo. I was able to figure out that all the notes he's singing come from the key of G flat major. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily in the key of G flat major. He could be in any of the relative keys. So I played this chord progression, which is kind of keyless. It's ambiguous. It's A flat minor, B major, E flat minor, D flat major. And technically that's the key of E flat minor, but the tonics kind of shroud it a little bit. By the way, if any of this stuff is confusing to you, you can check out my video on composing chord progressions in minor keys. It's all explained there. But anyways, I had these chords support the melody that you just heard.
Please don't own me, feel around me, in my own head, words that they said.
And instead of just strumming them, I played them with this simple little pattern of finger picking, and I also extended some of these chords into major sevenths and minor seventh chords as well. After that, I really just added in some extra layers of percussion and synths to get this song.
Please don't own me, feel around me, in my own head, words that they said, so profoundly, you denounce thee, I am so stressed, I don't feel blessed, why am I so scared when I'm so aware of who I am I so damned, please don't let me be. See from my own eyes, hurt made me go blind.
Now, I thought that was fine, and I didn't pursue making it any better because I thought AI didn't stand a chance with this. I really thought this was too difficult for AI to handle. But let's see if I was right about that. Here's how Niels tackled this project.
So one of the things that is incredibly interesting is that these AI generators constantly improve. And as I was working through these challenges, Suno all of a sudden offered a new way of creating music by providing your own audio tracks. But the challenge was the timing was just completely unrelated to what Will was singing timing-wise. And so that's what I submitted to you. But I hated it.
Words that they said so profoundly, you denounce the I am so stressed, I don't feel blessed.
And then I had a conversation with my guitar teacher. And he said, Niels, have you considered just to put a click track on that? I ended up with an audio with clapping and Will's vocals. And that meant that Suno ended up producing something that had a snare in it. Afterwards, I took this into Ableton and manually retimed all the snares to match with the clapping. And that then ended up with the track that was reasonably in time. The problem is there was still a lead melody over it.
Please don't out me, feel around me, in my own head. Words that they said so profoundly, you denounce the I am so stressed, I don't feel blessed. Why am I so scared when I'm so aware of who I am? Am I so damned? Please don't let me be, oh I cannot see from my own eyes. Hurt made me go blind.
When I heard Niels' second submission, I actually started getting a little bit worried. I thought I shouldn't have even given him a second chance. Fortunately, though, the public has spoken, and the humans have won this battle, which does give me some relief. But I'm actually shocked at how good that second submission sounds and how easy it was for Niels to come up with something like that with these tools. But now, Battle 5. The goal here was to write a drum part for a pre-existing guitar riff. Now, I can write a good metal riff all by myself, but you know who writes a better one? My brother. He's an accomplished composer. He wrote 2 entire albums for Nonpoint. So I asked him if he had any spare riffs laying around, and he sent me this. Now, I could have composed my own drum part for this with a mouse and keyboard, but why do that when I know beard stank? I sent the riff off to him, and here's what he gave me in return. I thought that was
Nasty.
and I was really excited to hear what happened with Niels' submission.
What I used was the fact that you can give Suno existing music, and it will end up extending it in a sense that makes sense. And the main challenge was tempo. They're just living in their own world, unrelated to what you actually end up giving them. And so then, ultimately, why I decided to give you something anyway is because this track I sent to you sort of had moments of that riff. And I figured, well, if Jake is going to be providing this to his audience, who of that audience is really going to compare if it's the same riff or not? I'm still going to win this one.
Now, you might disagree with me on this, but I'm completely disqualifying the AI submission for this battle. It's quite simple. You changed the riff. However, I think there's value into listening to what Neil's actually created here. You can hear there's a little bit of the genetics of my brother Dave's riff inside this AI composition. And there's actually some really cool stuff going on there, stuff that I really like. And I think this highlights one of the great assets that AI is going to bring to the table for composers like myself, is idea generation. I don't think there's anything ethically or morally or artistically wrong with asking AI to come up with 50 song ideas and then finding things that you like about them and then reworking them into how you see fit. There's a lot of ways to get inspiration. Sometimes you might look at different pieces of artwork and that influences you. Sometimes listening to lots of music will influence you, and I think that's just part of the process. You shouldn't be scared of that. But what you might be scared of is who's going to win the last battle. The goal for this battle was to write the theme song for a fictional television show called Battle Cattle. It's an animated adventure series set in the near future, when biologically augmented cows gain super intelligence, and then form a technologically advanced breakaway civilization, hellbent on destroying all humans. I decided to take on this battle all myself. My inspiration was the old Saturday morning cartoons, stuff like Pokemon or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I wanted it to be fun, upbeat, exciting, and energetic, something that could sell toys. So I began by writing music in the key of C minor, using synthesizers and electric guitars. Then I wrote some lyrics and a melody and sang it myself, but it sounded like crap. So I went to that AI voice changer thing and I turned myself into a woman.
We may not survive this bovine missile strike.
We may not survive this bovine missile strike.
It sounds goofy, but I liked it. For the comical style that I was going for, I thought this actually worked great. I was also able to transform myself into Blake.
Battle cattle. Battle cattle.
And after about 5 hours of writing, recording, and producing and mixing, I was able to come up with this.
They've got a beef with the entire human race. And now they're in orbit and attacking us from space. We may not survive this bovine missile strike unless we make it right. Battle cattle, you know they're battle cattle. Oh, battle cattle, battle cattle, battle cattle.
Now, truthfully, I love that. I think it's awesome, and I'd be really upset if AI was able to beat me, especially without very much effort. But let's take a listen to what Niels and the bots were able to put together.
Thundering hooves shaking the earth. Mutant bovines unholy birth. Lactone muscles, eyes blazing red. Humans cower filled with dread. Battle cattle, rampage and dark. Battle cattle, settle the score. Payback's a blow with the temper of steel. Humans will kneel to the blood of heel.
So honestly, after hearing that, I was a little scared that my submission might lose, but I'm very relieved to report that the public vote is in and that the humans have won this last battle. So the final vote tally, including that disqualification, is humans 4, AI 2. And if we count out that DQ, it might have been a 50-50 battle. So what does this all mean? Well, I'm not really sure, but here's one thing I know. Every few years, a new technology comes around that removes another artistic job. The invention of the microphone meant that less operatically trained singers were needed. The invention of the mellotron meant that less violin players were needed. The invention of the drum machine meant that less drummers were needed. I can go on and on. Every decade, there's a new disruptive technology for musicians. But historically, what happens with these disruptive technologies is they become part of the composer's toolbox. I personally am very excited to use AI tools in my future songs to save time, to save stress, and to get better results. But one thing I hope is abundantly clear is that I have fun making music. It's enjoyable to me to solve these problems and to record my own parts and to do my own composing. If I could just click a button and do it, I wouldn't. That's not fun for me. This process is enjoyable for me. And I'm sure a lot of other composers are the same way. And that's why we still have drummers, even though there's drum machines. That's why we still have people that practice singing, even though there's auto-tune. But I just don't know where all of this is heading. I know that the technology is going to improve as time goes on. And I know that many artists are going to learn to implement these tools as part of their compositions. Does that mean you can stop learning your instrument? I wouldn't go that far. And I hope you did enjoy this video. A huge thank you to all of the composers that participated, and a giant thank you to Niels Provost for all of his help. Again, make sure you check out some of his songs in the video description below. I'd also like to thank my Patreon supporters for making all of these videos possible. If you'd like to join them, there are links below in the description. And if you are one of my regular viewers, don't worry, I'm gonna get back to regular music theory lessons here pretty soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.